Welcome back to the channel, where body armor is the drink of the day. I am on assignment once again, and we are here with a large corporation doing a seminar, and it's the second one in as many months. And at this location, numbers of units moved means more than quality of repair. So the real challenge here is to get the technicians up to speed, meaning we want as much quality as we can get in the limited time they're given to do the repair. That puts us in a bit of a pickle. But it's an interesting challenge, and we can't fight the corporation, can we? But this raises a good question. Now, for the automobile industry, what is the current state of interior repairs? And why is this a good question? Well, because often the public perception is that interior repair is low-skilled or unskilled. And even the dealer perception is that it may be low or unskilled. In fact, it's really the dealer's fault a lot of times, because they want to lowball the price that they pay for repairs, don't they? In fact, others have said that for the dealerships, it's like they want the lowest price for the lady on the street. So I know that's a bad image, but that's the reputation that many dealerships have established for themselves, unfortunately. And I see this in the viewpoint of prospective students. They must view our industry as unskilled or low-skilled because they come without pen and paper, which is, by the way, one of the reasons that we've developed the workbook so they can input their answers into the list of questions as we review the material. So if they didn't do this, they're going to find out that they're overwhelmed. They can never just remember. I know they think they're coming to class and they're going to do the work and they're going to remember it. And instead, there's a variety of things to fix, a variety of products to use, a variety of tools, so many new terms. It's overwhelming to the student. And then they discover it's more highly skilled than they gave it credit for. And there's also the mobile tech industry, who doesn't even give any recognition to the interior repair anymore. So they view us as unskilled or low skilled from their viewpoint. So I've written down a few notes, and we wanted to come to the consensus today. What is the truth? You know, because based on past observations, there is some truth to these viewpoints. But what is the real perspective? Well, from an artist perspective, you could say that our restorations involve the most multimedia applications of any of the trades. And what do we mean by that? Well, because we're involved in repairing various kinds of leathers. We have vinyl, urethane, various thicknesses, various applications, various textures. We have cloth of various colors and designs. We have plastics of all kinds, ABS, polypropylene and all the polypropylene blends, TPO, lots of different plastics, amongst other things. So as far as media is concerned, many more different types of substrates to repair, which requires a higher skill set. You could say that the interior repair involves a more multifaceted skill set than any other refurbishment service. So what is the state of that skill set today? Well, it gives me pleasure, after more than 40 years in the business, looking for better ways, constantly improving in the business, to say that the future has arrived. Every development in repair technique you ever wished for is here. The quality of repair that you hoped you could always make is now attainable. The future has arrived. Now, what does that mean for the so-called technician that doesn't want to change is a good question. Well, first of all, what is a technician? The technician is derived from a Greek term that means an art, skill, or craft. Now, most repairs we see do not fit the description of an art, skill, or craft. Rather, they fit the description of the hack for the quick buck, right? So the results do not qualify the person then to identify as a technician if you can't identify the art or skill or craft in his or her work. And we have seen on this channel that even the beginner student can exhibit the art, skill, and craft that the long-term techs can't do. So the time has come to unequivocally disavow those hack jobs. Yes, the future has arrived. Embrace it. So let's consider some examples of the multi-faceted aspect of the interior repair work just briefly. We have the proper hand sewing techniques for one, and that takes sometimes weeks to develop. So that's going to require a good bit of persistence on the part of the student. And these hand sewing repairs are essential to modern day structural repairs. It's a necessary skill. We can't do it in the few days of the seminar such as we're attending here today. Also, one of the skills is creating what we call an engineered texture. So the days of spraying a texture out of an aerosol can are gone, and they have been gone for decades. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the use of the paint gun, right? What's the PSI we should have with the paint gun? What distance away from the substrate should we be spraying? What fan setting should we have? What's the paint volume setting? And even depending on the size of the texture, maybe we're close, maybe we're far away, maybe it's less pressure, maybe it's more pressure. And these are all skills that we need to develop. So engineering a texture is an essential skill to be called a modern day technician. How about cleaning and prep? You know, the cleaning industry has always been viewed, I think, as an unskilled profession. But science is the basis for proper cleaning and prep. It's an integral part of it. You can't have proper cleaning and prep without the science. And the goal in our cleaning and prep is to create a high energy surface. So mental and physical energy is required. To get the energy into the repair, an output of energy from the tech is required. It starts here. So don't do it and start the repair because you're going to have a failure. Do it or don't start. Color matching is another skill that we often talk about, and many are afraid of when that's not really necessary. Proper training in color matching can make it truly fun and exciting for you. So develop the skill that no one can take away. Color matching is one skill that will set you head and shoulders above other so-called technicians in the industry. Now, someone suggested to me one time AI for color matching. Are you kidding me, really? That's the new generation, isn't it? Are you really mentally that lazy? Think about it. If you had, say, 3 different cameras and you shot the same color, you're going to get a representation of 3 different colors, aren't you? And what about the different lighting? And you're going to send that to the cloud and let somebody else tell you what it needs. Well, why do you think that color correction is a prominent part of post-production? Because cameras view color differently. And it's up to the technician in the post-production to try to make all the cameras look the same. Isn't that true? Yeah. So that's a good thing to think about. What about the variations in pigment concentrations we've been seeing? How are we going to accommodate for variations? How is AI going to accommodate that? Right? How is that going to work out in mixing our formulas if the concentration is different from one batch to the next? Yet the person that has the color matching skill by eye can handle that with no problem. There's no problem at all. It doesn't even figure in. So it's been said, by the way, that relying on AI can result in cognitive atrophy. That seems like a nice term for being brain dead, doesn't it? But the best thing for a craftsman is to exercise the brain. Use it or lose it, as they say. So don't be mentally lazy. The future has arrived. Embrace it. Another aspect of skill that's involved in our work is the use of a heat source. In every job, we have to make a determination. We have to use our judgment based on our skill set. Is it a heat gun that we're using? Is it a large one or a small one? Is it an iron process that we're using, a large or small? And there are various types of adaptations to all of these that come into play when we're using a heat source. Communication with a customer is a skill set that needs to be developed too. And that skill set we share with every other repair industry in the world. So now, with this setting that we're in this week, with this large corporation, if they view the industry that is our interior repair industry as highly skilled, what are they going to look for in prospective employees? Okay, that's a good question. For new hires, we're looking for manual skills, dexterity. What about the energy level? I saw one prospective hire who sauntered across the driveway this slowly. Okay, don't hire him. How are we going to have a high energy surface with a low energy person? That's like saying, how can we have fast food with a slow person? You can't do it, can you? It's impossible, right? So how about their work ethic? Is there any potential in this individual for developing the art or the skill or the craft? That's what we need to ascertain. So these are some of my observations, and I've been fortunate to have been one of the progressive pioneers in the field here. And I observed many businesses and their outcomes. I've seen businesses come and go. And along the way, my goal is to help the technician to benefit himself and to help the technician benefit his family and help him be an example to the industry, to help he or she be the answer to others' problems, to be the sun that comes up in others' lives today. So the day has come to disavow these caveman repairs we still see being done. For example, a person nearly 40 years in the business did this repair. My question is, how can anyone walk away and leave this like this? It reveals to me a character flaw in the person. This character flaw is common in our industry. The encouragement is to separate yourself from the so-called technician that is still in the primordial soup phase of development and who lacks the mental energy to mature and to change. Be the true technician, exhibiting the art, the skill, and the craft that define the term. The future has arrived. Embrace it.